With the number of businesses that are started every year, the failure rates are very, very, very high.
We're asking our faculty members to move from being the sage on the stage to teaching entrepreneurism, to move into a space where they're uncomfortable.
We'll need to constantly figure out how to adapt in this ever-changing environment where humankind isn't currently keeping up with the pace of technology, and the only thing we can do is have an adaptable mindset.
What is entrepreneurship? And how do we look at ourselves as individuals? How do we look at ourselves as units and interacting with our community?
NACCE, the National Association for Community College Entrepreneurship, created a textbook that not only supports graduate students who wish to become community college leaders, but also serves as a resource of knowledge and case study for those striving to become an entrepreneur. Ron Thomas was the co-editor.
The strong point of this particular book is the fact that all of the authors put together models that can be replicated at colleges, can be replicated in small communities and in major metropolitan areas. It was a show and tell and a model publication where people can follow their dreams from what is put into that book.
For the publication, Community Colleges as Incubators of Innovation, Bree Langamo wrote the first chapter, Leading with an Entrepreneurial Mindset.
The first thing I really wanted to tackle was redefining entrepreneurship. It's this word that is hard for people to embrace and is a little bit of a barrier. And so I thought if we tackled redefining entrepreneurship as a mindset that anyone could embrace, it would be more accessible. And then I went into defining what an entrepreneurial mindset is and talking about the need to really shift entrepreneurship from the perimeter to the core of education. It's simply a way of thinking. And given how the world is rapidly changing, we all need to think and act like an entrepreneur to be successful in the 21st century.
I think the key takeaway is that entrepreneurship education is evolving minute to minute, day by day. And to be effective in teaching entrepreneurship requires adaptability among many, many different skills.
NACCE had a dinner honoring the authors of its new book. Proceeds from the sale of the editions will go toward training and entrepreneurial education.
Many people have great ideas, but they really don't know how to commercialize or get to market. Taking the mystique out of this will be of great success. Many people will look at entrepreneurialism or innovation and think that there's some magic to it. Well, there really isn't. There's some basic tenet principles. And we do live them. It's just a matter of to what extent that we live them and how we engage ourselves and our organizations and working in our communities in implementing those or operationalizing those basic tenets.
Chapter 7 was co-written by entrepreneur-in-residence Joe Kapp and Eastern West Virginia Community and Technical College President Chuck Terrell. Kapp suggested that funding could be identified if the college could find a match, something President Terrell thought was a deal breaker.
We were at a NACCE conference, probably in 2014, and we were listening to this private foundation talk about this entrepreneurial opportunity. And then there was a statement that the college would need to be able to match $100,000 for this opportunity. And I leaned over to Joe and I said, well, we're out. As a community college, we don't have those resources. And I'll never forget this moment. He leaned back to me and said, the problem is not with the money, it's with your attitude.
I think the biggest piece is not necessarily the funding piece, it's really identifying what is it that you're going to do. Then you can really work with local, regional, statewide funders to say, hey, look, here's what we want to do and here's what we think can be effective in our region. What are some of the ways, and what you often find is that funders will come out of the woodwork in unexpected places.
What's happened at our school has been a complete transformation with a $15,000 grant creating this institute. And since its inception, with the multiplier effect that has happened over the years and that entrepreneurial mindset, it has now generated over $800,000 in private, state, donors, etc. Really excited about the story that the college is telling in regards to entrepreneurship ecosystem building within our region.
Eastern West Virginia Community and Technical College is a 2-year institution with a student population of 1,000 students and is the smallest community college in West Virginia.
That the resources are there, The most important part of what we are trying to convey in our chapter is telling the story. Send the message to institutions, whether they're small, medium, or large, that if you have the will and the passion, you can too replicate and do many great things within your community.
The conclusion brought forth for me an understanding this is a movement, and it could be described as a movement that is escalating at a time in history where community colleges are being asked to step up and to save our economy.
Being an entrepreneur requires courage. It requires looking at things differently, and sometimes it's easier to get started if you can hear the story and know that failure is part of the process, learning, continuous improvement, and I think being an authentic leader to adopt an entrepreneurial mindset really opens doors, and it can be very transformational.